My name's Morgan. I've been an East Palestine resident my whole life. I'm here for my children, really. My children deserve health care, and we deserve justice.
What's it been like this last 2 years? This is the second anniversary.
It has consumed me. It has quite literally consumed me. So every single day, it's, worrying, thinking. I worry for my kids. I worry for my family. I worry for myself. I worry for my fellow East Palestine residents and all of the other people that were affected, because it wasn't just East Palestine. So.
And the idea that you were contaminated along with thousands of other people and have lost your health care, I mean, could you imagine something like that happening?
No, it's literally a crime against humanity. And it blows my mind that people don't believe in what we're here for. I can't grasp it. It doesn't make any sense to me. People keep saying that it's only about the money, but it's not. It's about accountability. It's about doing the right thing. You can't just bomb a community and throw money at them and walk away. And that's what they've essentially done.
And I understand they spent $25 million for a park, but people can't get health care here. What's going on?
I'm really not sure. The pool isn't even going to be accessible to the kids this year, so I honestly don't even really know.
Is that PR on part of Norfolk?
I'm thinking so, probably. It feels like the whole thing was, I mean, it's Norfolk's town. I mean, it feels like it is. It's changed all of our lives, and not for the good.
Some people are afraid to say that they're getting sick.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I think that people are afraid, yes. I mean, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like in the years to come. There are new things coming up, and I mean, this is something that's going to take time. Like the ramifications, I don't know if that's the right word, but the ramifications of what happened here, it's not like it's going to be instant, and people are getting sicker and sicker. My nose hasn't stopped running since the derailment, quite literally. I mean,
and your children, the fear that you have that they have been contaminated, and their lives have been
terrified. I'm absolutely terrified for my children. I don't even really like to say it out loud, because I don't even want to put it into the universe. You know what I mean? It keeps me awake at night. Honestly, I'm very afraid. I'm very afraid. And I shouldn't have to live like this. You know what I mean? I fought very hard to be where I'm at today, and it has just consumed me. That's just all I can really say, is that it has just consumed me from February 3rd of 2 years ago until this very moment. I have been consumed with the derailment, researching chemicals, what's going to happen.
And do you think there's been a cover-up because the EPA told people to go back to their homes, even though vinyl chloride is a dangerous toxin, and they haven't done surveys apparently and found out that people are sick here?
I mean, I can't say for sure, but, I just really don't feel like our best interest is what is at the heart of this,
And Vice President Vance is going to be here with the two senators from Ohio and Governor Devine. What do you want to say to them, and what should they do today, because they're coming on the second anniversary of this catastrophe?
Well, I feel like they should give the disaster declaration like we've been asking for.
It's the Stafford Act.
Right, correct. And we just want answers. We just want the truth. And I don't think that that's something that's such a far-off thought. We just want the freaking truth.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's toxic.
Oh, that's
molecular structure.
That's dioxin.
And what does that have to do with East Palestine?
That's what contaminated all of the area.
That's floating around now, and it's going to kill us all.
It's still. Well,
what's your name?
John Williams.
And this thing, dioxin. So they say that they've cleaned it up, that this place is safe to live in. Do you believe that?
No.
Why not?
He's showing it to you right there.
It's very. Number one, the major reason that you can't wash it away, dissolve it and have the runoff carried away is because it's not water soluble. It's fat soluble. And when you, let's carry this on a little bit. If you have the fire that they're creating this, and it goes up in a cloud and it's blown away, it spreads, it goes up to about 3,500 feet and then flares out. And then the crystalline matter. In actuality, this molecule is smaller than a grain of salt.
So it's getting into people's systems. Is that what you're saying?
It's getting it. Well, it got into pasture fields. The animals that graze in the pasture fields eat the grass. It gets into their body. The dioxins go into the fat cells and set up housekeeping. It's not water soluble. It's only fat soluble. So it goes into the
ecosystem.
The ecosystem. The animal's slaughtered. It's sold.
And what about the EPA and the Department of Public Health? Have they warned people about these dangers?
Well, the EPA had sent a directive to all 10 districts not to do a dump and burn, and they did it anyway.
You think they should be criminally prosecuted?
I think somebody should have some restitution, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just going to have a little bit of a press conference welcoming Vice President Vance into town again.
And 2 years later, did you think you would be going through this 2 years after the news?
No, not at all.
So, are you afraid of what's going to happen to your family and the community?
Every single day, yeah. Healthcare-wise, I have no idea what we're going to be in for, especially in the next 5 to 10 years.
And there are people here with signs they need health care now. Why can't people get health care here? I mean, they got poisoned because of this thing. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, the best we've gotten so far is just to be promised to be monitored for the next 5, 10, 20 years maybe.
What good is that going to do as far as your health?
Yeah, well, I guess we'll know what's wrong with us. We just have to figure out how to pay for it ourselves unless we can get some assistance with that.
And this settlement, the class action settlement, what do you think of that?
That I'm actually not allowed to speak on.
Okay. Vice President Vance is here. He when he was a senator, and Jared Brown, the senator, said that they were for the Stafford Act being instituted here. Do you hope today that he will actually use his power, the government executive act, to get it, Stafford Act, so you can get health care, get money to relocate? Yes,
absolutely. I'm hoping he's got some really great news for us when he comes in today.
And what does this mean to Americans? Because there are other railroad accidents going around. There have been 1,500 derailments since East Palestine. It seems like same dangers are facing other communities.
Yeah, and not just the railroad. I mean, there's plenty of other chemical disasters that have happened. We've actually, 2 of us actually just went down to Conyers, Georgia to give them some support and give them the best advice we could give them just from going through our own disaster. So
it sounds like an epidemic of explosions and chemical disasters.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think there's a lot that needs to be dealt with. Railroad safety, of course, chemical safety. I'm surprised, get OSHA a little bit hammered down on, what they need to be following up on, and make sure that every community out there is safe.
And these executives of Norfolk Southern, it seems like they've gotten off scot-free. They haven't been held accountable. Is that the case?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to get a raise, for derailing a train. You know what I mean? I don't typically get a raise for doing something wrong at my job, so.
Okay, thank you. What's your name again?
Tamara.
Thanks, Tamara.
My name is Wendy Schell. I'm a functional genomic practitioner and a resident of Beaver County.
And why don't you talk about the anniversary? You're here 2 years after the catastrophe, East Palestine. What are the lessons and what does it mean to you that apparently people are still suffering, afraid of getting cancer, their children and families?
It's been really hard. So I'm over the border in Pennsylvania, but I am a resident that was impacted personally. Through that, I advocate for Lyme disease, so I can see in my clients, I can see in my friends and family some health things that are starting now. I know that there's some people that have been impacted immediately. So the first year, we were trying to see how we could support people in East Palestine, and then this year, in my professional role as a functional genomic practitioner, I research chemicals, I research environmental toxins. So I'm here to support them because there's citizens now that are just starting to show the health effects from the train derailment. I know I personally suffered some things, so I come from a research standpoint, I come from a medical standpoint, but I come from a mom. My son is 13 years old, so I want to make sure that his health is not impacted long term.
How can it be that the government, the EPA, the CDC, even though their employees were sickened by this poison, are denying that the residents here have been poisoned and need to get health care, need to get protected?
I'm hoping that's something that I'll get some answers for today at our event at 2 o'clock where the NIH speaks, because I personally don't understand it. If they're seeing that and they have the data and they're getting testimony from their workers, there's no difference from when they walk out their door to the people that have a building and a business next door. So we're hoping to get some answers for that.
And Lyme disease, you have a shawl here talking about that, and people have been affected all over the country. There's a dispute about where it came from, Plum Island, that it was actually a manufactured disease. Are you concerned about these laboratories and the danger of leaks where they're testing and producing possible dangers to the community?
Yes, absolutely. I know it's a controversial topic, but the research is there. I started studying Lyme in 2017 when I was bedridden. Nobody had any answers for me. That's what led me into genetics, and I've read the studies, I've seen the research, there are books written about it. It's a controversial topic, but with the long-haul COVID studies, we could see the overlap with the conditions of Lyme long haulers or chronic Lyme. So as a research study, we can see the connections of things. So, if there is a lab that's not cleared correctly, and we have the data, we can see the research. There's also in Flint, Michigan, there's a ton of Lyme there. There's also rumors that there was a plant, some type of facility that wasn't cleaned properly. So the stories are out there. People don't want to talk about it. But if we're saying that we can't clean these chemicals from our environment, how are we properly cleaning them from one building to the next? And what is that next building coming in? So yeah, those are all things that we need to have honest conversations about. And
the issue of deregulation, this new government, said that they want to deregulate. There are too many rules, there are too many procedures. Deregulate and put industry in charge of regulation. Are you concerned about more wrecks, more disasters because of the lack of regulation? There's also the enforcement issue. The regulations that we have aren't even being enforced. I mean, we've seen that here.
Yeah, I come from an advocate standpoint. So with my pin here, it's the Center for Lyme Action, so a 501c4 where we're looking for legislation. I am not a fan of big government, but I'm a fan if the government's there, we need to hold them accountable. So there is that slippery slope of, yeah, we need regulations, but we also need people to hold them accountable. So that, that's why we're here today. People are saying the government, we're going to help. Well, where's the action? Where's the long-term plan? So it has to be, it's such a gentle thing of that, do we need legislation or do we need to pull back? But at the end of the day, we need to hold people accountable to what we currently have.
And a lot of people are angry. Norfolk Southern, they say this town is controlled by Norfolk Southern. The politicians get money. People are put on salary. That you're not going to get any protection as long as Norfolk Southern has control of the community. Is that a concern of yours?
It's not of mine personally because I don't live here in this area, but I have spoken to the residents of here. It is a concern for them. They're not being treated the same. And we live in America. We should all be treated the same, whether we're an individual, whether we're a business, or whether we're a large corporation.
So why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is William Hugar, Hugar. And I've been a resident of East Palestine most of my life. And I am called Ground Zero Guy.
Why is that?
Because I lived right there when it happened. And I still live right there. I've seen everything, all the work being done and that. They've had my road blocked off for a long time. So I didn't have much traffic out there at the time. But, and later today, Vance is going to be on one property butted up next to mine, so.
And the EPA has said that everything was fine here. People should go back to your homes. What do you think?
EPA did not do their job properly. There were, You know, you can look for stuff, and then there's looking for stuff. They weren't looking for the right stuff. I mean, yeah, if you're looking for A, but they're testing for B, then you won't get your results for A. And they can say it's okay. So that's half the problem.
And do you trust Norfolk Southern?
Oh, hell no, they're out for profits. They are profits over people. That's simple.
Do you think that they control the government?
I wouldn't say control the government. Probably paid off a lot of people around here, though.
And there are people pitted against each other here in this community. Is that true, that people are fighting each other here in this community?
That's a tough one.
Some people have benefited from Norfolk Southern. Others now are suffering. They can't get health care.
Right. I'm one of the ones who get to suffer.
What happened to you?
Oh, any money I get off Norfolk Southern is taken off my SSI. They say that is income because they never declared this a disaster. And what we're trying to do, since Biden couldn't do the job right, we'll see if Trump will do it.
And they haven't declared this as a disaster, but it seems like thousands of people have been contaminated. What is a disaster?
That's my question. You have this great big plume of smoke that's full of poison, comes on lands. You've had animals die, people die. I heard about a week-old baby died because of it. So what is a disaster?
You think Vance is going to do the right thing?
Oh yeah. Why do you think he's here?
How long have you lived here?
Most of my life. I grew up here. I went to school here. Lived here most of my life. I keep coming back. This town is like a boomerang. Anyone who lived here got the boomerang curse. We just keep coming back.
I'm losing oxygen to my heart. There's nothing I can do about it, you know what I mean? The doctor can't even fix me now. I'm on nitroglycerin now. And it started 7 days after the derailment. I got 7 nodules on my lungs, and now I have over 150, and they can't do nothing about it. So, help the people. President Trump, Vice President Vance, come and see the people of East Palestine. Come talk to me. I'll give you my address, 287 Thomas Street. Okay? I was only 132 feet from the train when it was come by on fire. And we breathed it for 6 days. So please, just come help the people. Norfolk is taking us for all that we got. They're taking everything. And they took our town. Look at their pretty building, though. You see their pretty building right there? Brand new, brand spanking new. They didn't help nobody in this town. We had to replace all of our stuff. Okay? It's not worth what they're trying to give us. It's not worth it. And it's not fair to the people of East Palestine. Take care of the people that were right here in the derailment, plus the Negley and the Darlington and the other people. I don't know how far it goes out, but that smoke, and they didn't have to blow that other one either. I heard that the tank had already started cooling down when they blew it. That was total stupidity on their part. But thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it. Okay. And God bless the sick people here.
I don't know. I'm just glad J.D. Vance and President Trump have not forgotten about us. And I know they're going to try and get that Stafford Act so that we can get our health care taken care of, because we never know what kind of cancers or lung disorders that we are going to be getting from all the chemicals. I live less than a half a mile away. A lot of people don't believe that we got poisoned and that we're still getting poisoned, but we are.
And the EPA?
The EPA, they're a joke. They lied to everybody. They let everybody know that everything was. They just did not say anything, and they're saying that whatever cancers you get, we'll be able to treat them. They're full of it.
Yes.
So you want
My mom
You
did
want Trump-
whenever,
Vance to
like,
talk
at
to
first, when
Yes, I'd very much like Vice President Trump to talk to the people.
yeah, we have a little bit of public
Our
comment
mayor
about
has
it. You know, the
talked
rest
about
of our issues, you know
the
what I mean?
importance of the
My
city
eyes
growing,
are real
but he has not spoke of the residents
You know what I mean.
that can't return home because of their homes being
Well, I don't know what the
contaminated,
long
nor has he spoke
getting on
about
is,
the
but-
Stafford Act and that our town does have issues. Some are doing good, and I pray they continue to, and I hope they get what they want, but they also have to speak for Norfolk's dirty little secret, which are the residents that are sick and being silenced, and the residents that their homes are contaminated. So if we're going to do this as a community, you have to represent everyone in your community. Our home's contaminated. We still cannot be there. It'll be 2 years, March 3rd, and we're being dislocated again. Norfolk Southern is ending relocation February 28th. My family of 5 cannot go back to our home, so we are facing being homeless because they've decided that chemicals can go by a calendar date, and Norfolk Southern thinks mine just disappeared from my home magically, like their help has for the community.
Are you worried about your children?
Yes, I'm very worried about my daughter. She's 22 years old. She should not have to worry about whether she's going to have a family. If her family is going to be healthy. There's lots of worries, whether she'll face cancer, whether she's ever going to have a safe home that she had before they decided to not maintain their trains and ignore their warnings and then blow up train cars to poison the town.
While you're here today, what would you like to see?
Yeah,
What's your name?
Carolyn.
Talk about why you're here today.
To see
What's happening?
to see Vice President Vance. That's why we're here. And my friend. Yeah.
That would be the fun one. I want to be President Biden's here.
I didn't see him. I wanted to see Vance. Yeah. So nothing new's happened except they've cleaned up as much as they could for now, I guess. I don't know if they're going to come back because there's supposed to be some more things going on.
Have people been getting sick? Some residents here?
We haven't. We live right in town. Yeah, so I don't know. But you don't know what the future's going to hold, you know. We take it one day at a time. We don't work.
Just confusion, just a lot of unanswered questions that still ain't going to be still going to be unanswered. So yeah, it's sad, but hey, we'll see what happens in the next year or so.
Did you expect him to issue a declaration today for a mass casualty?
I was hoping he would. I was hoping he would, but apparently not.
He issued a lot of executive orders.
Exactly. Well, this should have been top priority. So, but I guess it ain't. We'll see what happens in the future.
And how were you affected?
Got little rashes, but not too bad. I live on the end of Alice Street, so yeah, we're like 6 houses over, 7 houses over, so yeah.
Did the EPA warn you that there were any dangers?
No, we had 2 state troopers come over and tell us to vacate. That was it. No EPA, nothing. So we left, came back after DeWine lifted the evacuation. We come home.
You thought you were safe?
Assuming we were, yeah. But yeah, we wanted to get home because it was a burden to spending the money out while we were out. But yeah, we were expecting to come home to something clean, but apparently not. The odor was still around and still there today, on and off. So yeah.
Are you worried about your long-term health effects?
I am, for our family, yes, and friends and all, yeah. Me, not too much, but it concerns me at times. But yeah, well.
Norfolk Southern has done right?
No, 100% no. 100% no. They should have did a lot better. They should have had somebody else come in here and do all the testings and not through their contracting.
You don't trust their contract?
No, definitely 100% no. And neither does the town, so come on. This little village doesn't trust them at all. And then they put this building here, so.
What is this building?
Norfolk Southern.
What is the building for?
That I don't know. I've never been in it and don't want to go in it.
This was their offer to the residents to build a building here?
Right. Yeah. We're here. Yeah. Where? Hiding behind the glass doors and windows, pretty much. But hey, we'll see what happens next year. So we're in the years to come.
What's your name?
Scott.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
Absolutely. Thank you.
From what I could see on the video, which wasn't super great, I'm not excited, but I'm hopeful. I'm still hopeful. He is a man from Ohio. Hopefully, as he gets a chance to hear from his constituents again in real time, hopefully he'll be a man of his word and move forward.
He said he wasn't going to institute a disaster act.
Yeah, well, what I heard was
he was asked specifically about health care for people here, and he said
I thought he said they were working on something for health care, but I was more paying attention to what was going on in front of me. I'm not as excited as I had hoped to be. I'm kind of disappointed, but I did not get to watch the whole thing because I was live streaming and trying to watch it on somebody else's device. So I will remain hopeful. I will continue to push on.
Well, you need it regardless. You need the health care.
Yes.
As helpful now as it would have been 18 months ago.
I think the National Disaster Declaration has to be in place in order for some of the other things like the Stafford Act or Superfund National Priority List, or even they could write something new for us specifically. A lot of people that we talk to one-on-one want out, but they don't want to go on the news. They don't want to say it on Facebook. They're afraid of being bullied. They're having health problems. They're afraid, but they're more afraid of being bullied. They're more afraid of their own community. So, a few of us take it and they can love it or lump it. I just want what's best for all of our families. If you want to stay and you know the risks, I hope you are happy and healthy here forever. And if you know the risks and you're having issues and you want out, I want an ethical way to remove your family from the situation.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Here's the thing, too. When most lives normal, on a couch, having fun after a great day before this happened, what all of us want is that life back and not to be interrupted by this kind of stuff. It's great that there are people coming in and talking about it, but we want our lives back. We want the normal humdrum kind of happy family events without this being a burden on our thoughts, without having to make our appointments for medical visits around our sports, if our kids can even do the sports. But we want to be able to go on and move on with our lives, not be relocated. And that's a lot of people don't know. Most of us are still relocated, paying on a home and also paying on a different location. And that's something we just want normalcy back.
And what's your name?
My name's Ashley McCollum.
Can you spell that, please?
It's ASHLEY. McCollum is MCCOLLUM.
And you're a lifelong resident of East Palestine?
I've been here for about 10 years. I still own a home.
Okay.
And I get sick here. But today they're not doing as much with moving dirt and everything. And normally, if it would have been yesterday, there probably would have been a lot more problems that you guys would have noticed. But apparently they've stopped it today.
Is there any supervision of the cleanup?
So far, I know after Norfolk stopped their remediation, they were going with CERCLA, so they're just continuing with what the EPA had arranged.
So when they do the cleanup, people are getting sick during the cleanup.
Oh,
Is that
absolutely. Yeah.
Have you another?
If you would stand here and watch a truck go by, you'll start to feel it. You'll smell the truck. I mean, it's still bad. We're still sick. We're still suffering. People don't want the ridicule and problems that go along with speaking their mind and having those issues. So no one should have that. We just want to go back to living a normal life, and we can't do that without the help of Vance, Trump, our representatives. I mean, I'm bipartisan, but anyone would help anyone. If you see a car on fire, your thought is to help them, not to ask them what political party they're with. You just help them. And we've been sitting here in a burning town, basically, for all this time and still have no resolutions. We just want to move on. We want to have our lives. Anyone sitting on their couch today, even listening to what you guys are doing, hearing that, just think it takes a couple seconds for it to be taken away and for me to stop and turn to my son and cry to him like a movie moment and say, it's okay, I'm getting your things, feel what you need, and let's go. No one should ever have to go through that. And I still think about it every day, and me being here, I think about it. If we want out, we should be able to get out.
So you're disappointed that it didn't issue a declaration for a mass incident casualty site that would have let you, under the Stafford Act, get health care and get relocation costs?
Yeah, relocation would be great because then we could start somewhere in a foundation to move on with our lives. This is always going to be a place in my heart and the people that I have come to love out of this. But this shouldn't be an everyday experience we go through and the trauma and everything that we're dealing with. This shouldn't be that. We just need help moving on, and we can't do that without these people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, he didn't say anything specific about what he was going to do.
Yeah, and we used to play in the creeks. Everyone did. We had no problems in those creeks. Now we can stir up some sediment and see rainbow. I mean, I camped in those creeks every single day for a summer with my kids and other people, and now we can't. Now the question is, will we have tumors? Will we have respiratory issues? Will we have eye problems? Should I be worried if my kids have cuts and touch that water? But we shouldn't have those worries in places where we're living. That is not a home. A home is where you feel safe, where you feel taken care of, where you don't need to have those questions. And until they get it cleaned properly, I don't think anyone should be here questioning, is my home safe? Because this is all of our home.
It sounds like he was told that all the cleanup is nearly done or in process.
We need to speak to the residents.
Has he spoken to you or any of the other?
A lot of us had good communication in the beginning, but things have picked up and there's a lot of things that have been moving. So that's hard to tell right now. So it's still very new. And I hope that he reaches out to some of the residents, even pick a couple houses on a couple different blocks and knock on a door. Say, hey, how do you guys feel about this? Ask the residents, not the people that need their business to strive in a town, no matter what. Because if your business goes down, you go bankrupt, you lose your house. You know, these are people that have nothing but a home that they're stuck to. Some that are retired, some that can't move on, some that can't get new jobs, some that are disabled. We cannot help those people move forward.
Poor people, some live paycheck to paycheck.
And
like, can't move on that. So she is.
We're stuck.
Yeah, so with the payment and everything that I had with my house before, I will never in my life ever see that again. And that's a shame because I had my life set in this town.
Why did he come here if he didn't issue any specific declaration or anything?
I'm glad he did. It shows that it's a step forward and maybe hearing something, and maybe we'll go into the media more and we'll hear a lot more people speak up, and maybe he can actually hear more stories.
Well, he was asked questions by the reporters about people that are sick here, about not getting health care. I mean, he's vice president. They issued a lot of executive orders. They could have an executive order for...
Because I wouldn't like anyone to speak for myself. Because I know my struggles and everything. I don't know how he's getting his information, what venues, and we're hearing a lot about the news.
He's been here. He's talked to residents. Yeah. He's familiar with what's going on here.
But there are more current things that need addressed too. So I think with him reaching out to even a large group, even having a town hall, like, hey, I'm here, or even on a Zoom call, because those are very acceptable or accessible, hearing from those people. That's what you need to hear from the people here. I'm just one voice.
Maybe you should have had some people at the press conference with them, residents talking about what was going on.
I agree.
That would have been very
We did
powerful.
see some business owners leave, and that's great. But it would be great to have another town hall in any way for other people to be heard. Because I'm just one voice. This is just one experience. We all have multiple experiences, and not everyone's the same. And it's just the same in anyone else's neighborhood that you're at. No one's story is the same. So he needs to hear from so many other people before making that decision.
He said that he didn't want another railroad catastrophe. He said he would support the Railroad Labor Act that they had. There have been 1,500, derailments since Norfolk. I mean, since East Palestine. It sounds like they're going to continue to happen. And Norfolk Southern really, the law has not been laid down on them.
Yeah, and I think something does need to change with that. Because like I said, you could be sitting on your couch and this can happen again. If you live so close to a railroad, that should be something in your mind. You should have a game plan. You should know where to go in case this happens. Until they get that established, I mean, that should be something in everyone's mind. Until something's done, it absolutely should be.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Matt McCandless.
And talk about what happened to you after East Palestine derailment.
Lives were uprooted, and anytime I go back to the house, I get sick. I puke blood, I pass blood. I try to keep her out of her house as much as possible till I have to go collect the mail and stuff like that. I sold my house, my personal house, not her house. But yeah, I mean, everything's been turned upside down.
And you couldn't work?
Well, I was on 12-hour shifts, and we had to change hotels because the hotels only, some days they only had 1 night stay or something. Then we had to go try to find another hotel. And then we had 2 dogs, her kids and stuff. I can't, there was no way for me to go to work. So, yeah, I lost my job.
And then what happened?
I mean, I saved up enough money to where I was able to purchase a camper, and we did have a GoFundMe to where we were able to get a new camper. Well, newer to us, but yeah, it's been a nightmare.
You've been done wrong here.
What's that?
You've been done wrong.
Absolutely. And the whole thing that they're all fixated on is the vinyl chloride. There are so many things that were on that train that were illegal to haul. They were outlawed in the 90s. They outlawed dichlorofluoromethane. They outlawed trichlorofluoromethane. And those were the refrigerated trucks. And the reason why it was outlawed was because of what that refrigerant does to the ozone. That's what used to be in your air conditioning units in your vehicles in the mid-90s and early 90s. And that was still being used. The benzene, illegal to burn. Toluene, illegal to burn.
You think these executives should be in jail for what they did, igniting that?
Absolutely. It was a bomb train, was what it was. After I started breaking down all the chemicals, everything, it's ethanol, it's acetones, there's acetone nitrates, there's so much stuff on that.
Why did the EPA said it was safe to go back?
Because they did their bullshit test, or because they did their testing and they said it was okay. Yeah, well, the machines that they were using, we have video of them admitting that the machines that they were using to test in the beginning were improper machines. They didn't test at low enough levels. Some of these chemicals need to be tested in parts per trillion, and they were tested in parts per million, which is a huge difference. Or parts per billion, still a huge difference.
So you think there was a cover-up?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, because the testing was done improperly. The EPA had openly admitted to them dropping a ball on it. And whenever you start to look up these chemicals and how they should be tested, you can find the readings, like what is an allowable limit. And the thing is another thing that people are overlooking is that the allowable limits are in an 8-hour work period. It's not to live in. So the testing and what is actually there is not to live in. You're in your house more than 8 hours a day.
You lost your health care?
I haven't had health care in over a year.
So you're not getting medical care?
Nothing. No, No, nothing. But we've been staying in a campground probably about 25 minutes away, something like that. So we've been out, but we moved away that night, the first night. Matter of fact, I was actually at work when the derailment happened. So
Trains.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the one thing that I like, there's a couple things I need to point out. If they replace the ambulances, the fire trucks, because they were deemed contaminated. Why is nothing else deemed contaminated? Makes a whole lot of sense to me, right?